From Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Saamiyah Syed. Our top story tonight. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has cancelled the planned release of a report intended to substantiate his claims of election fraud in Georgia. Trump said in a press conference on his social media platform Truth Social he would publish irrefutable evidence for his claim. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis has filed racketeering charges against Trump and 18 others. Georgia Republican Governor Brian Kemp has reiterated Georgia's 2020 elections were not stolen and emphasized the security and fairness of elections there. The indictment against Trump includes 41 counts, such as solicitation for violence of oath, conspiracy, and false statements. The charges were prompted by a call Trump made to Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger asking him to find 11,780 votes to win the state. The investigation has also dealt with fake local voters who tried to certify fraudulent results in Trump's favor. Since leaving office, Trump has been indicted 4 times in state and federal courts. 9 Northern California police officers were indicted on Thursday on corruption charges. The 2-year FBI investigation found they had also committed civil rights violations and fraud to receive a pay raise. Only 3 of the suspects are still on police duty, while the rest have been dismissed. The officers have pleaded not guilty. They are accused of inducing others to take online courses for them so they could earn a degree in criminal justice and receive a pay raise. They are also accused of using excessive force against suspects and then falsifying reports to make it appear justified. U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of California, Ismail J. Ramsey, has filed 4 indictments. A bomb threat was made against the Muhammad Mosque in Washington, D.C. during Friday prayers last week. Police responded to the threat and evacuated the mosque, and a special bomb squad searched the premises. They found no bomb, and the threat was determined to be unfounded. But the mosque's imam, Yusuf Selim, says authorities should take the matter seriously. The House of Worship Security Chief, Muhammad Abdul Malik, says police have registered the act as a hate crime. The U.S. has criticized Israel's plan to increase funding for illegal settlements in the occupied West Bank. State Department spokesperson Vedant Patel says the move imperils prospects for a 2-state solution. He says it also worsens confidence between Israelis and Palestinians. Patel was speaking about the Israeli proposal to allocate nearly $200 million to expand settlement and outpost construction in the West Bank. Israeli non-governmental organization Peace Now recently claimed Tel Aviv was moving ahead with financing Jewish settlements. An undefined grant of $24 million is earmarked for the settlements to use for almost any purpose. An estimated 700,000 Israeli settlers are living in over 150 settlements and more than 100 outposts in the occupied West Bank. Under international law, all Jewish settlements in the occupied territories are considered illegal. In related news, the Israeli government plans to spend more than $800 million over the next 5 years to tighten control over occupied East Jerusalem. The plan unveiled by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu aims to eliminate social inequalities and promote economic development in the city. Critics say the plan is aimed at advancing Israel's annexation of East Jerusalem and consolidating its control over the city. It comes just days after an Israeli settlement watchdog movement said the government is funding the annexation of West Bank land. The group says the government has allocated an additional $190 million to that end. Many see this as yet another step towards annexation and denial of Palestinian rights. More than 100 Palestinians were injured Sunday in Israeli military attacks in towns south of Nablus in the occupied West Bank. The Israeli government claims it was searching for an attacker responsible for the murder of 2 Israeli settlers near the town of Huwara. Israeli forces entered Beita and other towns, leading to clashes with Palestinians. Over 100 people were injured by rubber bullets, tear gas, and sound bombs. Photojournalist Wahaj Bani Mufle was wounded while documenting the raid. The Palestinian Red Crescent reported more than 100 Palestinians were injured in the Beta raid. At the same time, Jewish settlers attacked Palestinian homes and vehicles. Israeli soldiers also closed roads between the towns and dropped gas bombs, affecting freedom of movement and the start of a school year. In Araba, Salah Khalil, head of the town's local council, said the soldiers also blew up the doors of several stores and confiscated footage from surveillance equipment. West African military chiefs are poised to intervene militarily in Niger following the recent ouster of President Mohamed Bazoum. The Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS, has agreed to activate a standby force as a last resort to restore democracy. ECOWAS defense ministers met in Ghana to plan a possible military operation while keeping the diplomatic path open. Group leaders favor dialogue and are considering sending a diplomatic mission to Niger. Niger is the fourth West African country to experience a coup d'etat since 2020. Africa's Sahel region is plagued by insurgencies linked to groups such as Al-Qaeda and ISIS. ECOWAS forces have intervened in emergencies in the past, with contributions expected from Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, and Nigeria for the Niger mission. Bazoum, detained since the coup, is being held with his family. It has raised international concern about his well-being. ECOWAS chairman Bola Tinubu, president of Nigeria, warned of grave consequences if Bazoum's health deteriorates further under house arrest. ECOWAS has announced sanctions, and France, Germany, and the United States have suspended aid to Niger. More on how Syrian refugees need assistance in Iraq comes with details after the break, so stay tuned and we'll be right back. Syrian refugees in refugee camps in Iraqi city are desperate for help. Anadolu news agency reports they are unable to return to their homes because terrorists from Kurdish PKK and offshoots have occupied the region. There are more than 100,000 Syrian asylum seekers in Doha, according to authorities. The city has roughly 20 refugee camps in which Syrian refugees are awaiting help under harsh conditions. Zanna Mohammed, the camp manager, says many aid organizations have stopped their work since the start of the war in Ukraine last year. Salwan Momika, an Iraqi refugee based in Sweden, desecrated the Quran on Friday in the capital Stockholm in yet another attack on the Muslim holy book. Momika, who was assisted by Salwan Najm, also of Iraqi origin, perpetrated the attack under police control in front of the Iranian embassy. He cleaned his shoes with the Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi's photo and the flag of Iran and stepped on the Quran. Momika then set fire to a copy of the holy book, the flag of Iran, and Raisi's photo. Videos shared on social media showed a woman intervened in the act of the desecration with a fire extinguisher, and police stopped and put her into custody. Momika and Najm left the scene in an armored police vehicle. They were escorted by about 20 police vehicles and about 100 police officers. In related news, the Swedish government will review the Public Order Act because of repeated attacks on the Quran. In an article in DN newspaper, Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson stressed that police should take into account national security while considering applications for gatherings and demonstrations. Kristersson was joined by partners of the coalition, Ebba Busch, and leader of the Christian Democrats, and Johan Persson, the leader of the Liberal Party. They promised the law would be reviewed without changing the constitution. The article says the government will investigate ways to change rules and prevent attacks on the Muslim holy book. In recent months, there have been repeated acts of Quran burning and desecration by Islamophobic figures or groups, especially in Northern European and Nordic countries. The International Committee of the Red Cross, or ICRC, will cease its financial support to Afghan hospitals at the end of August. The ICRC launched the Hospital Resilience Project in November 2021. This was to support 33 hospitals in the region and prevent the collapse of Afghanistan's health sector. In March, the ICRC board agreed to reduce costs with a revised annual budget of $2.4 billion. This had a direct impact on work in Afghanistan. The Taliban-led government is expected to take control of health services. Meanwhile, the situation in Afghanistan remains dire, with 97% of Afghans living in poverty and nutritional problems affecting 2/3 of the population. Diogo Alcantara, ICRC spokesperson for Afghanistan, says the group has neither the mandate nor the resources to maintain a fully functioning public health system long-term. After the Taliban took over Afghanistan in August 2021, international humanitarian aid was drastically cut, plunging the country into poverty. The economy also collapsed when the Central Bank of Afghanistan was stripped of foreign assets. Pakistan's Federal Investigation Agency has arrested former Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi. Qureshi is a close confidant of former Prime Minister Imran Khan. He was arrested on charges of disclosing official secrets and interfering with state interests. A Pakistan anti-terrorism court on Monday also remanded human rights lawyer Iman Mazari and former MP Ali Wazir to 3-day custody in a sedition case. The arrests are the latest development in a standoff between the outgoing Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's government and Khan, who was jailed on bribery charges. Qureshi was arrested Saturday night at his home in Islamabad for publishing a letter last year claiming Khan had been ousted by the United States. He is accused of leaking the contents of the letter to unauthorized persons and twisting the facts. He was arrested hours after a Saturday evening press conference in which he called a level playing field for Khan's party, the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. He said the party would challenge any possible delay in the elections scheduled for later this year. Khan is serving a 3-year sentence in a maximum security prison in the eastern province of Punjab. There are more than 150 court cases against Khan, including several for corruption, terrorism, and incitement to violence. That's all from our Toronto studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for the latest updates. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Assalamu alaikum and good night.